Canonn Radio, solving the galaxy's mysteries one biscuit at a time. A good relative time part to you all. This is Commander Larzak with Canonn Faction News. In local news, the Faction Progenitors Department, previously referred to as the Operations Division, offers their thanks to the great work done in Undalib Aluf. The Canonn has catapulted ahead in the system influence standings and is well placed for the next market update. They ask that work continues in Chocobog in the form of contracts for passenger and faction-issued missions, as well as redemption of Canonn bounties and exploration logs to Finney Holding. In news from the Cannon Fodder Department, war has come to Noon Jedi's. The Noon Jedi's independent consulate has declared war on the Canonn over their expanded biscuit sales in the region. Help the Canonn spread the brain-boosting snack by joining them in the designated combat zones within the Noon Jedi system. It is requested that combat bonds from this action be turned into the Canonn bond officers in Chocobog to consolidate our efforts in that system. We've also been asked to pass on a logistical request. It appears Trin Enterprises of Chocobog has had a rush on tobacco and personal weapons and is suffering a bit of a shortage. Any deliveries may be taken to Shady Sam Surplus Stuff to circumvent local market restrictions. In news from the Conflux, apparently a hostage situation arose around the coordinates to the Delta site. For more on this story, the illustrious Dr. Ashcroft joins us. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Ashcroft. What can you tell us about this news from the Conflux?
Glad to be back. And it is as you said. There was indeed a hostage situation far out at the edge of our galaxy. The hostage in question was Commander Baton, and while we are not aware of it at the time, Commander Goliath was being held against his will as well. It turns out a pirate known as Commander Klonierski was using Goliath to send messages on his behalf. The pirate was requesting a sum of 50 low-temperature diamonds to be delivered to a contact of his in the Leaf system. I took it upon myself to act as security detail for the exchange, though it would later turn out that things did not go as initially intended.
Were the hostages released upon payment of the ransom? And for what reason were they taken in the first place, Doctor?
They were indeed released. In fact, everything went much smoother than expected. We did run into a bit of a complication when the pirate moved the meeting point to another system and demanded the couriers arrived alone. Originally, I intended to provide security on site during the transaction, but instead I ended up having to wait around the local star in low power mode while maintaining contact with one of the couriers, as my presence on site at that point would have jeopardized the transaction. Had anything gone wrong, however, I could have been there in a moment's notice. As for the motivation behind this crime, it seems to me it was simply pure greed that motivated Commander Klonierski and nothing more.
Well, it is good news that no lives were lost, Dr. Ashcroft. Does this now mean that the coordinates to the Delta site have been released with the hostages?
Yes, it does. Not only have lives been spared this day, but scientific progress and discovery have been made as well.
And while I have you here for a moment, Doctor, have you uncovered anything new in regards to our last conversation concerning the body pulled from the Eureka construction site?
Actually, I have. It would seem the circumstances around the body itself are incredibly suspicious. Gilnet told us that the body was horribly disfigured by radiation. However, they did not say that radiation was the actual cause of death.
Well, the mysteries are certainly abound, and we can't wait to hear what else you manage to unearth by the time you join us next. Thank you, Dr. Ashcroft, for once again shedding some light on the strangeness in our galaxy.
It was my pleasure.
That was Dr. Scarlett Ashcroft, and this has been Canonn Faction News. Thank you for joining us. This is Commander Larzak signing off. Thank you for listening to Canonn Faction News.